Hey, how's it going? It's Robin Smith, and it's time for the Robin Smith Show for Sunday, April 27th, 2025. Welcome to the podcast, and we're just going to get right into it. Thanks for being here. It is a solo show. Next week, actually, I guess this Wednesday, I'll be interviewing Chelsea Rose Odner, Robert Falconer, and Dr. Jonathan S. Rose to talk about their upcoming book, Opening the Inner World, Spiritual Healing, Internal Family Systems, and Emanuel Swedenborg. I'll bring you that episode next week, and really looking forward to that. Did you all hear Pope Francis has passed away at the age of 88? So this is where the Catholics in the Vatican City have the white smoke or something, the black smoke. They let you know, they communicate old school to let you know when they've selected a new pope. But I think that doesn't happen. I don't know. Is there like a month, or how long does it take? You know, the church that we go to, not that anyone died, but when the rector leaves, you know, you get a new rector, you have interim rectors. Is there an interim pope? How does that work? I'm not Catholic. I don't know. Yeah. I guess he had some lung complications or pneumonia or a stroke, or I was listening to Bill Maher. Bill Maher said the last person to interact with Pope Francis was J.D. Vance. That can't be true. Obviously, the last person that interacts with him is like the hospice team, medical team. But Pope Francis, thank you for your service. And I think I spoke to someone. Who was it? Oh, that's right. It was the liquor store guy. You all might remember if you listened to that episode several weeks back. During Lent, I went to the liquor store. Even though I gave up alcohol, I was still at the liquor store. That's peculiar, isn't it? But the guy at the liquor store, he apparently, I think he said someone he knows is deeply connected in high up places in the Catholic Church, and he was like, yeah, that guy's predicting Latin American Pope, a Latino Pope. I think. I don't even remember. It's not that important to me. That's probably why I forget. Anyway, there was a neighbor lady walking down our street, and she was. I saw her looking through our recycling, and she took a bottle. I was like, what's going on? Clearly she lived in some circumstances where it was important to scavenge and to make use of what other people are discarding. You know, this was during the Halloween season. We had some baby pumpkins, decorated out on our lawn along the curb. And she, I think it might have been, I don't even know if it was before or after Halloween. Maybe it was after, I don't know. But she was, I was like up in my daughter's room, and the window was open, and my daughter, being just super outgoing, was like, hi, and she looked up and she waved, and I don't think she speaks English very well. And so she picks up the pumpkin, and she's like, me? I eat? She says something like that. And we're like, do you want that? And she's like, I take? And we're like, yeah. So she takes the pumpkin, and then she keeps walking on her way. And then she grabs another one, and she's like, I eat this one? And I'm like, yeah. So I wave at her every time I drive in and out. But yeah, I was not expecting her to rummage through the recycling. In a completely unrelated note, there's no more non-binary mage emojis. I was, you know how if you have a car that has like Apple Play or Google Play or whatever it is that you can like send a text message, you can ask to text one of your friends or family members. And back in the day, I was texting, or someone texted me like a wizard emoji, and the thing was reading, and it said non-binary mage with a hat or something. And I was like, what? Like, meaning like you don't know if it's a male or a female wizard, right? And then I was like, wait, do they now that Trump's in office, do they still have non-binary mages? Because I know Apple went hardcore about, having a bunch of non-binary options, right? They have the pregnant man emoji, okay? But when with wizards, they got rid of it. It's not there anymore. I asked my wife to check. I said, text me all the, magi. Text me all those. Let's see what the car says. They don't say it. They just say mage emoji. You come here for the most important updates in tech. That's what I'm known for. That's my reputation. That and whether or not to stay in bed if you have to go pee. Okay? We were talking about this morning at breakfast time. And bless my daughter's heart. She was like, yeah, I had this dream, and then I had to go to the bathroom in the dream, and then I woke up, and everyone knows this. Everyone can relate to it. It's like you're like, okay, I'm not gonna, I have to go to the bathroom in the dream, and then so I wake up. It reminds me of that episode of The Simpsons when Homer has to go to. He's like so snuggly and warm in bed. He's like, I'm never leaving this bed, right? And then he's like, uh-oh, I got to go to the bathroom. Think, Homer, think. And then eventually he's like, I guess I have to get out. Do you get in bed? Some people have a strong will. Okay, and this is why I bring this up. I told my wife, I said, yeah, I don't know if you all are stubborn, but when I feel the urge to go, I'm not staying in bed. I don't pull a Homer. I got to get up. I always got to listen to the bladder. I told her, I said, I'm so team go pee that when I was on my ketamine trip, I had to go pee. And I was like, yeah, I guess we're not going to go to the ketamine realms. I guess we're going to get up and be escorted by the attending physician to walk to the men's room and go pee. That's how strong. Although I will say I was listening to a podcast with Dick Schwartz, and he was talking about how some protector parts, for those of you who don't know, Dick Schwartz, the founder, developer of Internal Family Systems, the aforementioned model I said at the top there, Internal Family Systems model of psychotherapy. He says some parts of the personality, some parts are so strong that they won't even let you. You could take psychedelics. I mean, he doesn't specify you could take 6 grams of mushrooms and they won't let you have an experience. But he says they're so powerful they won't let you go. If you don't get their permission, they're not going to let you have an experience. And I feel like my first ketamine trip was that. I thought I did check-ins. Excuse me, but no. It took they were like, no, we're going to give you a little Microsoft background, screensaver visual. No Ancestor Realms for you. By the way, speaking of IFS, I belated happy birthday to my daughter Charlotte. We took her to the movies, and we saw Snow White. And this relates to IFS, I promise. There's a scene where Snow White is, she meets the dwarves, and then she's in there, and they're all, I don't know, they're all messy, and it's the whistle while you work sequence, and she gets them to cooperate and to work together and to clean their house, basically. And I lean over to my wife and I go, I'm mid bucket of popcorn eating, I'm like, she's integrating the parts. She's self. The dwarves are the parts, and she's integrating them all. I don't know. I don't know if that makes sense. Apparently, actually, I was hearing Jordan Peterson talk about how the dwarves are the ordinary masculine, that Snow White has to encounter the ordinary masculine before she encounters the prince, who would be extraordinary. I don't know. I don't quite get it, but, you know what? Let's ramble about sports here on the other side. I'm going to share a track with you all. This is... Okay, so we got to talk about Caps, okay? We got to talk about the Washington Capitals. But before we do, I'm going to share a tune with you all. This is Ontario by Vinny Vegas. Enjoy.
People talk too much, don't say what they mean. Some people say enough by choosing not to speak. Why chase the things you love? Why limit what you say? Why stop to think about all of the time you waste? Imagine your world and the places you could see. It can all be right here, but you have to need it to be. How much it means to come this far is more than enough to make me sure never be done. We'll only give up.
Okay, hell yeah, Vinny Vegas. So, can you hear that in the background? It is the music hour. Between the time I edited that song in and pressed record again, my daughters are playing piano. Happy belated Easter, by the way, to everyone. The Easter egg hunt was a success. Aunt Candy's potato casserole was delicious. It's all good. It's all good. Okay, so Caps. We are now, I'm recording this on Sunday, April 27th, and I'm hosting Caps Game 4 tonight. The neighborhood guys are coming over. And that was kind of cool. I think it was Game 2. They showed, there were some Commanders in the crowd. Jaden Daniels throwing the ball around with Caps fans. That was cool. It's always great for, DC sports teams to support one another. But man, Game 3 did not look good. And fun fact, that was, we're playing the Canadiens up there in Montreal. And speaking of Vinny Vegas, I've only been to Montreal once, and that was with Vinny Vegas on tour. Their keyboard player left, and they were kind enough. They were like, we need to find someone who can play keys in short order, who can learn these songs and go on tour with us. Dates were already booked, and I played guitar and sang vocals in the very small, but I was like, heck yeah, let's do it. So I learned their songs, and I went to Montreal, enjoyed some poutine, and that was a young city. I didn't see anyone over the age of 40. A very young city. Anyway, Montreal Canadiens, they have the Bell Center. And, if you all watch the Four Nations face-off, you would remember that all the relationship between the United States government and the Canadian government, not good. So every time they would sing the national anthem, they're like, please, out of respect, in the light of the recent events, we ask that you remove your cap and stand and honor the national anthem, whatever they say, right? But then they're like, oh, sake. And then everyone's just like, boo! Everyone booed the shit out of it, right? But apparently, so I guess it wasn't a full crowd for the Four Nations face-off, which is crazy to me. I don't know. But this was the first, maybe it was. The stat was, this was the first playoff game with a full crowd at the Bell Center since 2017. I guess that was the last time that they got in the playoffs. And if they did get into the playoffs, otherwise, it was COVID, and so it was all weird. You know, I went to one of the first Caps games at Capital One Arena down in Chinatown, DC, when they reopened it, and it was weird. It was weird. We were in the one of Kelly's friends was kind enough to bring us to the Lexus box suite or whatever, you know, where you get your own bathroom, and it's crazy. I was like, I think that might have been the first time there. I was like, this is amazing. Or maybe it was the second time. I don't know. Doesn't matter. But the point was, like, we had to wear masks. She was like, yeah, when you drink your beer, like, pull your mask down, drink your beer, and then pull your mask back up, because they'll watch you, and if you don't do that, you'll get kicked out. It's like, what the fuck? What the fuck? You know, there's no ref you suck, all the chants and stuff. You can't get anything going because there's like, you know, what's the capacity at Capital One Arena? I don't know. 15,000? I don't know what it is. Whatever it is. And there's like 1,000 people there, all spread out. It was so weird. Anyway, okay, so Caps are down, or Caps are up 2-1 in the series. And tonight we gotta win so we can come back to DC and just knock these ones out. You know, although in the year that we won the Stanley Cup final, we were down 2-0 in the series against Columbus. And then my sweet, sweet Charlotte, the birthday girl, who was just mentioned prior, she was born. She popped out, and then we started winning. She's the good luck charm. You know, that's like, it's always the thing when we're in past playoff games when we were down or whatever. I'm like, you know, we were down 0-2 the year we took the cup. So, like, don't despair. Of course, you know, the Caps get to the playoffs a lot and then don't advance past the first round, or they can never get past, if they do get past the first round, they can never get past the second round. So we'll see. I want to hear from you all. If you have a suggestion for a guest or a topic to cover, if you have a question, you can write into the show at robinsmithshow@gmail.com. You can leave a voicemail on the show's hotline, 301-458-0883. If you're a fan of the show and you'd like to support it to reach more listeners, you can share it with friends, family, colleagues. You can subscribe, follow, or rate the show on your favorite podcast app, and reviews are always welcome. If you'd like to go even further, consider becoming a monthly supporter on Patreon. You'll help me keep the lights on, and boy, are there multiple tiers. Almost there are. There are multiple tiers. I have built the multiple tiers. I have tiers about how many tiers there are because there's different membership benefits, but they're not that deep. I promise you there will be a time when I release more content there. But thank you, Patreon supporters. You can learn more at patreon.com/The Robin Smith Show. Thanks in advance for supporting the show. And that's it. That's it. What are we here? That's the show. 19 minutes. Are there any holidays coming up? I wanted to say, like, Happy Bastille Day. I guess Mother's Day is coming up, right? Oh yeah, we got a birthday party. We were gonna have a birthday party this past weekend, and then sickness came. Luckily, we got to reschedule the cake and the bounce castle and everything, so that's coming up. But that's me. That's not you. All right, let's go Caps. Tune in next week. Yes, Chelsea, Bob, and Jonathan are going to talk about Emanuel Swedenborg, the spirit realm, and internal family systems therapy. So that should be fun. All right, take care of yourselves. Until next time. The Robin Smith Show is produced by me, Robin Smith. Executive produced by Robin and Kelly Glenn Smith at Team Robley. Theme song by The Very Small. The show is engineered by one of my alters, Games Nabisco. Listeners can get in touch by calling or texting the hotline at 301-458-0883. Messages can be sent to robinsmithshow@gmail.com. Don't forget to follow the show on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Disclaimer: this podcast is for general information purposes only and does not constitute the practice of medicine, psychotherapy, or other professional healthcare services, including the giving of medical advice. Note: no therapist-patient relationship is formed. The use of this information is at the listener's own risk. The content of this podcast is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnoses, or treatment. Listeners should not disregard or delay in obtaining medical advice for any medical condition they have and should seek the assistance of their healthcare professionals for any such conditions.